Hello children, I'm back with my second video explaining the next question, which talks about again the concept of list as well as loops here. And this question is basically talking about the fact that I want to create a list, okay, and search whether a particular number exists in that or not. I want a proper message to be displayed, okay. Now, this particular question is a little tricky because here we are introducing a concept of flag character. Okay, I'll come to it, what exactly it is. And I also use the concept of break. Okay, you know that break is meant to take you out of the loop anytime. So break is called as an unconditional jump statement. Why unconditional? Because it is not going to the condition back and checking whether the condition is false or not and then accordingly breaking. No, that's a normal loops procedure. Break is whenever you encounter the statement inside the loop, it just jumps out of the loop. Okay, without any checking of condition. The loop condition basically here we are talking about. Okay. So this is the first thing. And second is the introduction of a flag character. Now that what does that flag actually mean? Okay. Now to understand this, just take up a situation wherein I am not using the flag condition. Okay. I will just take up this particular code and copy paste it here. Let me just explain you that why I need it. Okay. Just ignore the above part. Let's check out this. So my list is directly, I'm assuming. Where is my list? My list is in num. Now I say that I want to search a number. So please provide me with that. So user gives me that and that comes in ELE. Okay. Now as of now, ignore this thing. I start accessing the elements one by one. So in the previous video, I explained you very well that I is going to be the variable which is going to take up the indexes of the list. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, like that. And when I use num of I like this, num square brackets I, then every element one by one in the loop is accessed as and when the value of I is changing. So when I is 0, num of 0 is accessed. Next iteration when I is 1, num of 1 is accessed. Next iteration when I is 2, num of 2 is accessed. So I'm able to access every element of the list in this particular manner. Now obviously my purpose is to check whether my every element is equivalent to the element the user has given me. Okay. For equivalency check, you all understand there are two double equal to's to be used, not a single equal to be used. Okay. So in the loop, my first statement goes as if the first element is equal to the element, then I will say print element found. Okay. Or else it is not found. That's the usual way a child starts thinking or doing the question. But that's what ma'am wants. She wants that when the element is found, I say found, and when it is not found, I say not found. But the problem with this code is, like, if I just kind of make this whole part a comment and just check the output, you'll understand what problem am I facing in this. What trouble will I be having? Okay. So when I say here, enter how many, I go by the default setup. I've taken 5 and same set of elements, suppose 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50. Okay. Now he asks me what is the number to search. Supposingly I am saying 40. Okay. So my loop starts working here. After this, you can see it again for I in range n. So he starts with num I as 0. So num of 0 is going to be 10, the first element. Is it equal to element? No. So he goes to else and says print not found. So it'll be not found, not found, not found, found, not found. Isn't that a funny way of putting it? I really don't want like this. I just want one final output saying found or not found. Correct? So this philosophy will not work because the output is a very strange output actually. If there are 100 elements and it is present somewhere in the 76th position, then in that case, you'll have 75 not founds, then 1 found, and then again the rest is not found. We cannot afford to have it like this. So what do? We just take a variable with any value, any variable with any value, okay, which is its current value. Whenever you find an element, okay, whenever you find an element, you just change that value of that character, I mean that variable, okay, just change that value. Suppose I'm talking about this as a flag because we call it a flag character, so I'm taking the name as flag. Otherwise you can just take it FAGI, whatever your name, anything, it's just a variable for that matter. And I'm saying please change the value. So it was 0, now I'm saying it's 1, so it's just an indicator. Okay, so like maybe your friend is standing far apart and he shows you a pen with a lid on or a lid off, so you know that school is open or school is closed. So you just have an indication. That's the kind of indication I'm saying. If f is 0, I'll assume that the element is not there, and the if value of f has been changed to 1 at any point of time within the loop, I assume that the element is found. That's the basic purpose. Okay. Now, if the element is already found, then there's no point continuing in the loop actually, because I just want to check its presence. The code is not talking about how many times it is present, so that you have to check it again, whether to find out that is it present anymore or not. Okay, so it's not saying that. So that is why I use break. So wherever you find the element, please change the flag value and come out, because that is what I want. I don't want you to continue in the loop. Okay, so I'm outside the loop now. Now, when I'm outside the loop, I just have to check the value of f, or the value of f as 0 or 1. Because if it is 1, means element has been found, because then only he changed it to 1. But if outside the loop, that is at this point, f is still 0, that means never was this condition true, and hence never was this executed. That is the basic fundamental. F is behaving as a indicator, and the indicator's value is changed from 0 to 1 if the element is found. Otherwise, it remains 0. So that is what we try to do here at the end, that if f is equal to 0, or we say 1 because here I've taken element found. So if it is 1, that means element is found. Else, you can check elif also, that if it is 0, then it is not found. That's the logic. Here I've taken f, here I've taken flag. You can take any other name, you can take any value. Say you start with 2 and you change it to 3, you start with 30, you change it to 40. Anything, because that you are writing the code. You just have to check accordingly that value here. Okay, I think the concept is fine. Now quickly let's do the dry run, maybe with this code or with the above code, whatever. So if I'm doing it with this code, if you're clear with this, I'm just getting back to my original code. Okay, and then let's do the dry run. I hope the existence of flag character, why am I putting a flag character, why am I putting a break, is clear. Fine. So let us start with the dry run. Correct. Now here my list is ready. You can see when the list was created, last I value was 5, item was 50, and n is 5 in the memory. Okay. So now I start. So I make one more variable here, which is le, and next is flag. These two variables I need now. Fine. So after this, I come out and make my flag 0. That's my next step. No, I first accept the element. Sorry. So which element I want to search? Suppose I said I want to search for 40. And then I make my flag as 0. These two statements executed. Right? I again start for I in range n. So again the same thing. I starts from 0, goes till 4. For execution, when it becomes 5, it comes out. Absolutely same logic we have done in the last video. So I start with 0. Is it less than n? Yes, it is less than n. N has not changed. Now I start. If num of 0 is again 10. Is num of 0 equal to 40? No. If it's no, because there's no else part, so nothing to be done. There's no else part. After that, the loop is ending also, nothing is done. So I go back and change the value of I to 1. Is it less than 5? Yes. Again, it comes inside num of I. That is num of 1, which is 20. Okay, so 20, is 20 equal to 40? No, so nothing happens. Again, next, makes it 2. Num of 2 is 30. Is it 40? No, so nothing happens. I make it 3. Now I come and check if num of 3. Num of 3 is num of 0, num of 1, num of 2, num of 3. So num of 3, is it equal to 40? Yes. So it moves inside, executes flag equal to 1. So flag value is changed at this point to 1. And because I found the element and that was the work I wanted to do in the loop, so I put break. See, if you don't put break, what's going to happen is going to continue checking it for the 4th position as well as the, in this case, it's only 4th left. But otherwise, he'll just continue doing it for all the elements of the list. Right? So like 100 elements, he found the element in the 2nd position only. You're unnecessarily making the code work 98 times, 97 times more. It's not required, right? So why to take processing too much on that part? That's why I asked him to come out. Fine. So break means out of the loop. So I've reached here. Now here I have to simply check, is my flag value 1? Yes, it is 1. If it is 1, I'll print data exists. Okay. Supposingly I would have entered a number called as 90. So all the through the if, for loop, and this if would never become true. Because it will never become true, flag will never become 1. Because flag will never become 1, this part will not be true when you come out of the loop. Hence, your answer will be data doesn't exist. Right? I hope the code is clear. Let's just execute it once and see. Maybe with a different set of numbers. We are bored with the same set of numbers. Now I take 7 numbers. Enter the value 34, 56, 7, 2, 90, 100. Okay, one more, 7 other. 56. Enter the number to search. Supposingly, I'm giving a number which does not exist, 800. So perfect output. One output, data does not exist. Now let us check with something which already exists. Suppose 6. So I'm saying 2, 5, 8, 9, 10, 12. Which number do you want to search? I want to search for 8. Data exists. I'm only talking about data exist. Okay. Let us do one small variation in this. I want to print its position also. One is that, okay, you have just displayed it exists. Which position? Now, while I was checking, do you see in the dry run that my flag changed at position number I with 3? Because at the 3rd position, I got the element. So flag became 1 and after that it came out, right? So my last value of I will have the position. So I really don't have to worry if I want to print its position also. The only problem is for me, the position is 3, but for user, the position will be 1, 2, 3, 4. He counts from 1. I count from 0. My computer counts from 0. Okay. So data exists at position. So I really don't have to do anything extra in this. I just have to pick up the value of I and display I plus 1. So data exists that's positioned this. Okay. So no extra code actually, because I is going to give you the position wise only is checking, right? So how many? Suppose I just talk about 4 elements, 20, 24, 45, 60. Which element do you want to search? I want to search for 60, the last element. Data exists at position 4. I would have been 0, 1, 2, 3. So 3rd position, but I'm going to display it 4 because for the user it is 1, 2, 3, 4. If you display him 3, he'll say, how is that possible? Okay. So that's how it is. Okay. So I hope it's clear to all of you, right? Let me see if I can do some other videos also with the dry run. If required, you can tell me. Okay. Bye-bye. All the best.